Hi guys, Scott Woodward with you to talk about the two Friday night games we have, NRL Round 7, and two very entertaining games. It looks like it'll be, and I think we can find some value for you. Look, let's go through the first game, the Dragons versus the Knights, and significantly this game is being played at St George's home ground at Win Jubilee Cogra, as opposed to round 1 when the two teams went around in Newcastle, and the Dragons were able to win that game in extra time when Soward slotted over a field goal. So logic would suggest that the Knights couldn't beat the Dragons on their home ground, so how are they going to beat them away from home? Certainly everything points to the Dragons, and just to underline that point, the Knights are also without arguably their best player and skipper Kurt Gidley, and also their gun centre Nagama. He also is not in this game. Ivan Tulmavavi has been added to the bench, so add a little bit of size to the Newcastle Knights forward pack if he gets a run. Let me say they need a little bit of size and they need a little bit of grunt, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the Dragons have also been boosted by Dan Hunt. He's been added into the forward pack, and he'll be one of their starting props. The Dragons have got a wonderful front row forward rotation as opposed to the Knights, and I think really that is the big difference here, and we'll talk about some of the differences in a sec. I doubt that Cooper will play. He's a chance of playing, but given that we have a representative fixture on next weekend, you would think that they'll probably give him the extra time, the 2 weeks break, and he won't come back, but he may be a chance of coming back. Nathan Thien has also been added to the bench for the Dragons, and he's a big in. If Cooper doesn't play, Matt Pryor will play in the centres, and while he's better known as a running back rower, he is an outstanding defender, and it's more of a safety reason there for the Dragons than anything else. But really, they shouldn't have safety on their mind. They finished with 0 points last week, but they did score a try, and the imbecile video ref needs to go and book himself in the OPSM and didn't allow it. So we can say they scored 1 try, the Dragons, but really they need to be scoring 3 and 4 tries if they want to be a big presence in this competition. And I do think they have got the potential to once again be there at the pointy end of the season. I just think the big advantage here is the Dragons forward pack. The last time these two teams played, the Knights didn't have one forward that made more than 90 metres, and that's just a disgrace. On that occasion, the Dragons had 5 guys who made over 90 metres, and that's really the difference. And as I pointed out, they get one of their big forwards back this week, so things will even be more slanted. We look at the records at Win Jubilee, the last 4 games there. Newcastle have won 3, St George have won 1 game. So the Knights have got a very good record playing away from home. But, you know, look, I wouldn't place a lot of weight on that. To me, it looks very much like a Dragons game to me. I think they've been down a little bit on form. The one big shining light for them is the newfound fullback, Brett Morris. He's certainly on track to be the fullback for New South Wales. If Dugan doesn't come back, he looks absolutely in super form, and really looking forward to seeing him go around up against Darius Boyd, who is the incumbent Australian fullback. So look, it looks a great game. I just think that the Dragons have got too much in their favour in the forward. I think their 6 and 7 are more settled. Certainly in terms of a kicking game, Jared Mullen has got an outstanding kicking game, managed to find the grass a lot, but he has to carry Tyrone Roberts there in the halves partnership, and it's a lot of responsibility on him, where the Dragons are very set in their forwards with Soward and Hornsby. I think they are one of the best combinations in the competition. Look, they're not world beaters, but they're very consistent, and you know what you're going to get from them. So look, everything points to me about the Dragons winning this game, and I think that with the prices on offer at the moment, I think they represent good value. The second game on Friday night, the Broncos versus the Raiders. The Raiders have to travel all the way up to Brisbane Suncorp Stadium, and the last 13 times they've done that, they've only been able to win 4 of those games. Look, just having a quick look at the teams. Obviously, T.O. was unsuccessful at the judiciary this week, so the Broncos will be without him, and we would imagine that Scott Anderson will come back onto the bench. There may be a surprise, and the coach may plumb for 2 of his. He's got 2 very promising young gun forwards in Janamas Louis and also Hala, I think, is the other guy. Both those guys have been known for the Queensland Cup, and I think there's a chance that one of those guys could come in place of Scott Anderson. But at the moment, we'll go with Scott Anderson as the replacement. As far as the Raiders are concerned, we're banking on the fact that Josh Dugan won't make a comeback. He's not due to make a comeback until round 8. And once again, with a representative game on next week, we think that they'll give him that extra week off. So both Josh Dugan and their tackling machine, Sean Fenson, we think will probably be back in 2 weeks' time, and don't expect them for this game. The general for the Broncos, Peter Wallace, has been in great form. Did not train on Tuesday, but our mail is that he should be okay, and we expect him to turn out and play. The problem with both these sides is they've both got enormous talent, but they have a lot of difficulty in switching on and playing for a full 80 minutes. Both teams switch off for those little 5-minute periods, and they let in a lot of points while that happens. And both teams have got young lists, and there's a lot of responsibility on those experienced players in those teams to keep the guys switched on for 80 minutes. But it hasn't happened. The Broncos have been able to get away with it simply because of the class and the massive talent that they've got. But it is a problem moving forward. They can't afford to do that if they're going to be playing semi-final football. So while I think there's some similarities in both the teams, I think that the Broncos list is far more superior, and I think that they look like that they'll be winning this game. They lead the NRL at the moment in the least amount of missed tackles per game, which is a wonderful stat to have, and yet they're still number 2 for tries scored. So it means that they have the ability to bust tackles, but they also are very good at defending as well. So they've got it at both ends. What they don't have is the ability to switch on and focus for 80 minutes. There's no question from what we've seen from the Raiders last week. If they repeat that, they'll go very close to winning this game. But we see an exciting effort from the Raiders one week, and then we see an absolutely disgraceful effort from them the next week. So they're due to have a shocker this week. Travelling away won't help them either. We pin a lot of that down to the coach. Certainly the Broncos are much better prepared than the Raiders. That's a big plus for them. And just looking at the prices on offer, we certainly thought that the Broncos should be a little bit shorter than what the bookies are recommending at the moment. While they're actually short in the market as far as prices go, we don't think that that's bad value, and we think in fact they probably should be even a little bit shorter. So look, a couple of the teams that we have on show on Friday night, namely the Broncos and namely the Dragons, we think are genuine Final Four contenders and will be right there in the pointy end. We think the Knights can play semi-final football, but they're certainly going to be a borderline case. And obviously, the only hope that the Raiders have got to play semi-final football is to get Josh Dugan back and form a very good combination with David Campese, I should say Terry Campese, and put a lot of wins together. But that's a very big if. We're suggesting at this stage the Raiders won't be playing semi-finals, and two of the other 4 teams definitely will be, and one of them could be. So we have a fair bit of talent on show on Friday. Certainly they are 4 very attractive teams to watch. You see a lot of ball movement, and I think you'll see a lot of points scored in both the games. Looks very attractive. I hope you have a good Friday night, and I look forward to talking to you for the week. Cheers.